present to Miami when you have going up against a quarterback like Tua that gets the ball out so quickly? Just what kind of challenges that present to your defense?
Yeah, he plays with special timing. I think that's one of his top traits is his anticipation and his ball location. And I think the design of their offense really features his game. So, he's one of the top anticipatory throwers in the league. And, you really have to make sure the coverage is tight and that you rush him the right way because you don't have much time to get there.
When your team's like swarming like it is like at the beginning of the game like last week, is that something that's like teachable, or is that kind of like a direct reflection of like the buy-in and the effort and like where does that come from?
Yeah, I think it's the culture of our defense. I think it's everybody involved. It starts with the players because they're the ones that are out there. I think the leaders of our defense have done a great job throughout the year of making this defense their own, and then the coaches making sure these guys are prepared so that they can go play the right way, And so I felt like our guys played the right way, especially early in the game. Really felt like, we were executing at a high level, and there was a lot of playmaking, and that certainly that opening quarter, gave us a good chance to get off to a good start in that game.
I think Justin, too, said that, because you guys are swarming, it's kind of warning people to be prepared for a screen and stuff. When you have a player like that who speaks up like that, what does that do for you as a coordinator? And then in that specific example, did you hear him at the time? Did that go into the back of your mind as you're calling plays or anything like that?
Hear him say what?
That he was kind of warning guys on the sideline apparently that because you guys are so active early that just be ready to go play action or screen later in the game.
Yeah, all those conversations go on throughout the game in terms of, hey, these are the openers and this is the, kind of what they've shown, what we've shown, and, hey, being ready for those next chapters throughout the game. And, that's all part of playing team defense is that communication structure. And that's the only way you can play team defense is if you have that, we kind of call it panoramic communication, from left to right, front to back. You need that in order to play defense at a high level because there's so many tough players and offensive scheme that you have to defend, and it's a long game. Just because you get off to a good start doesn't mean they don't have another chapter ready. So, I think our communication continues to improve, and I think that you can see it on the tape, and I think you can see it with the way that we're playing.
What have you thought of Cam Jordan's performance this year?
I think he's improved throughout the season. I thought last game, the snap counts in the run game and the pass rush was productive in both phases. I think he's finding a comfort zone in the defense. And, I think it's just a testament to him that he can do anything. He can do anything. A lot of people say I'm a 4-3 defensive end, and I've been so successful for a long time doing one thing. But I think if you study Cam's career, he's been a 5 technique, he's been a 6 technique, he's played out wide, and when you're as special of a player as he is, you can do anything no matter what the scheme is. And I think what he is doing now is he's really, I think, in a comfort zone within the scheme. And then now you're seeing the playmaking. That rush with the strip sack, that's textbook Cam Jordan. But I also thought there were a lot of little things in there in the run game where it was also textbook Cam Jordan, in a different scheme, but doing it the same way that he's always done it.
Last year, the team had high pressure numbers, but didn't necessarily convert sacks as often as they would have liked from what we heard from some of the players. This year, pretty high pressure to sack kind of conversion rate. What have you, Jay, and Bo kind of done to help that come together?
Yeah, I think just trying to feature the guys in the right way, kind of leaning into their superpowers and trying to match up guys the right way so that they can rush the right way, using other blitzers, from outside just the box to also help those players, whether it's simulated pressure, 5-man pressure coming from somewhere else. But I think our guys have really settled in. I think we know who we are now, and I think you've been able to see that. And I think, the thing about pressure rate for us this year is we've played a ton of base defense. Okay, and your pressure numbers are not going to be electric in base defense, So, I think the more chances we get to play sub defense, the more chances we get to, make it a third down oriented game, a passing game. I think you'll see our true pressure percentage reflected. But I think what our guys have done, especially on third down, our third down production has been really good in the rush, and last game was a good example of that. And so I think our guys are capitalizing on their opportunities when they get them. They know how precious they are. And I've been pleased with the progress, I think, since the beginning of the year, how we've played in known passing situations as a pass rush. We kind of talk about 4 as 1, 5 as 1, trying to play together. And I think you've seen, our key guys knock down their opportunities, and that's all we can ask for.
It seems like the linebackers have kind of been flying the last couple of weeks. What do you attribute that to? What's kind of opened up for them?
I just think the comfort zone. I think the comfort zone in the scheme, being able to hear the same play calls now, going on, week 10, week 11, and the consistency of that. And then, I think getting some of these younger guys in the game, once they feel the game live, I think now their instincts can take over, their anticipation can take over. They're not just trying to do the right thing. Now they can truly go for it the way that we expect them to. So that whole group is playing productive football for us. And Pete and DeMario, they've been doing it, for such a long time. But then you've seen these younger guys, whether it's Isaiah or Danny, they've come in and given us quality snaps too. And that's what you need as a defense, is to feature all your guys.
Have you ever seen a linebacker jump over a quarterback?
As he told you, that it's not ideal. I was actually hoping that one of the other guys would get the sack, for their production, so that we could kind of teach off of it with Isaiah. You missed an opportunity. But, I think that you saw his instincts take over. He was anticipating the quick throw because of the nature of the pressure. And it shows you how good of an athlete he is, too. So it's one of those cool moments for him. And he just needs to stay the course, because he's impacting the game and the role that he's in, and we got to keep him going the right way.
What is having Justin here meant for you guys as a defense this year? Is kind of the impact that he's had? Man,
I just think he's one of these glue intangible guys that every defense would love to have. And I know that, when he got to Kansas City, he had tough shoes to fill, and he's going on a premium team right away that's expecting to play in the Super Bowl, and he fit right in and became one of their most important players. And I had to face him, and I got to see his value on that defense. And I think those things that he has been known for, he's doing them now. And I think that now you've seen him kind of create a comfort zone within our scheme. And there's always a transition. And I think now you've seen, by our count, this is his 4th game where he's really played, at a high safety level. And I think his example, what he's doing for, Jonas and the rest of our safeties, and really the rest of our defense, is just showing that professionalism. But also, we've given him a lot of tough downs that maybe the outside doesn't see, but we've put the tough down on him, and he's able to take that on and produce at a high level, where if you were asking someone else to do that, you would probably see more peaks and valleys, where with him, you can put those tough downs on him, and he can produce for you.
Is it 4 in a row or just 4 throughout the season?
4 in a row, just he's really got a nice rhythm going, and he's playing, the way he's capable of. And he did it the whole season. He's played well the whole season, but just, 4 really solid games for him.
And coming from the Chiefs, where they're winning all the time, what have you just seen from him in that he's not getting discouraged from your guys' record and kind of that buy that you need from a leader?
Such a good point. Just the consistency of the approach and the consistency of the standard that we want to live in here, and showing our guys that elite level of preparation and performance, and also taking full ownership when it doesn't go well. I think that when you have experienced what he has, the best people are accountable. I think he's been accountable for when he's made mistakes. He's not afraid to shy away from that, and say, hey, I didn't get that right. I didn't do that right. I missed that play. And that's what special people do. And we're just glad we have him here for sure.
Brandon, I know you have some mutual connections with Mike McDaniel. Do y'all have a relationship at all? And if you could just speak to what he's been able to do offensively and the challenges.
Yeah, just, more like coaching colleagues. We kind of run in the same circle with the people that we know a little bit. But just a lot of respect for the innovation that he has in both the run game and the pass game. I think going to Miami, what he's been able to accomplish with Tua and that offensive group, they've been among one of the top offenses in the league. They have an identity, and I think he features all of his skill players, and he's been able to have a lot of production with a lot of different types of players, and you're seeing it again this season. So he's an outstanding coach, and his production reflects it.
When you play too high, does that put more like pressure and emphasis on like the interior run defenders, like on run plays for them to make stops because you're like taking a guy out of the box? Does that change the math at all on what you're kind of looking for?
We feel like it changes the math for the offensive identification process. I think our D-line, we just expect them to play technique like we always do, but where that 8th defender is coming from, we want them to have to try to identify that post-snap, and there's an advantage of it coming from the roof as opposed to being predetermined, where now they can identify, and change their blocking scheme accordingly. But you're always going to be, to me, a premium defense if you don't have to defend the run with an 8th defender. I think there's a disadvantage in the run game, and there's a huge disadvantage in the passing game, because now you have the isolations outside, and you're more susceptible to the big explosive plays in the passing game. So we just try to, start there. And there's sometimes where we're going to get the 8th defender in there. There's sometimes not. But, we're a technique, attack-oriented D-line. I mean, we want our guys to be physical on blocks. We're not going to be a finesse team up front. We demand that from our guys, both our edge players, our interior D-line, and our linebackers. That's how you change the math is, hey, we've got 7 in there. You got, 7 guys blocking, and we feel like that's good math for us, as opposed to needing a +1, to change the math. We feel like the way that we attack blocks gives us that extra hat.
With Cam, he said yesterday that it's a lot about opportunity and getting that opportunity. And so, I'm just curious, based on the way kind of the last 2 years had gone for him, where he was kind of maybe a little disgruntled about his playing time. Did you have to have a conversation with him about kind of you are going to have opportunities here, and it is a clean slate?
Yes, for sure. I think especially with someone of his caliber when I first, got this opportunity, I mean, he was one of the first people that I talked to, him and DeMario, the first 2, and sharing with him where we felt like he was going to be playing, which is on the left side, which is, where he's had, all the production in his career. And, when we felt like, hey, here's some things that we have that maybe you haven't done that could help you. And here's some things that you haven't done that, hey, we're going to need you to cooperate with, and get out of your comfort zone a little bit. But more than anything, like he said, is if you can put him in the position to be where he's impactful, then he's going to make the plays, more often than not. And so I think you've seen that throughout the season. And like I said, just his professionalism of accepting the new roles and then performing them at a solid level, that's been huge for our young guys to see. And again, I thought Sunday was a great example of him affecting the game still. He's still affecting the game. And, we're excited that his production continues to be there for us.
Very glad that he doesn't have to play defensive tackle.
Yeah, he's not. He's out of that world right now, and it's good because hey, your pro career is a path, for sure. We've all been through it, so I'm glad that he's enjoying it. I'm glad that he's feeling good because he certainly earned it.
Are those conversations tricky to have with established players? Like, hey, we want to give you something that we know you can do well, but also we need you to kind of cooperate with us a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
Definitely. I think I lean on the experience that I've had coaching some of the guys like, Khalil, Vaughn, and Aaron Donald, just leaning on those experiences. And I think when you coach the special players who are also unselfish team players, it's easier, and that's what Cam is. If you show them taking on a role that maybe isn't in their comfort zone, but how it's going to help the 10 other people, if they're a winning player, they're going to get it. And Cam is a championship player. So, those things outside his comfort zone, as long as he knows that there's a good reason for it, we know that that's what it takes. And he's been awesome. All the guys have, accepting their roles. It's been a really fun group to coach. All right, guys. Hey, happy Thanksgiving.